hating on you with their friends, girl, you got it.
First thing I want to do with this live is say that I am not using a filter. I am saying this because I got several comments on some stitch I did on my YouTube recently where people kept saying pizza face, and I was so like, that was so confusing to me. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as young as like the people who say all the trendy stuff like slay and let them cook, like I guess the 20s. So maybe it's something that I don't understand. Does that mean something different? Because when I was growing up, pizza face meant your face is covered in acne, and that's total body shaming, which is BS. It's not okay. But I'm like, why are people bullying me, and why do they keep calling me pizza face? Because they don't like what I have to say. I don't know. It was a stitch, but I looked back at the stitch, and the other lady that was in the stitch before me, like if they were mistaking me for her, it didn't seem like her face was like pizza either. So I don't know. You guys help me out. Like, apparently there's something that I don't know, something I don't understand, I guess. Let's see, add live goal. So, okay, I don't know it's a bunch of stuff popping up on my screen trying to get me to register for live rewards. I just want to come on here. Hey, hi, everybody. So I had a conversation with the DA's office in Oklahoma. There were a few people who commented on some of my not Facebook, I'm sorry, some of my YouTube videos about the situation with the ex-abuser who is practicing post-separation abuse and trying to take my children from me, children that he does not know. Like, this fool is so delusional. He actually sent an offer to, like, get his child support reduced, which that's probably what it's all about now because he is now 62, maybe 63. And also for them to have the summers with him and all this other stuff. And I'm like, are you out of your damn mind? Number one. Number two, because you don't know these children, they don't know you. You really think that I'm like, they're supposed to just be forced to go live with some stranger half the time all of a sudden? Some stranger who never could be bothered with them, period. And number one, because you're a whole monster. Like, what you're not going to do is get a chance to essay my kids like you've done to other ones. Like, go to hell. Go. So I've been talking about my experience, what I'm going through. I recently found out that he works for the county sheriff's office. So also, it's not a coincidence that now all of a sudden, because you were working for the sheriff's office for the county that I finally was able to divorce you in, it's not a coincidence that now all of a sudden, because you work there, so basically you're working with your colleagues to try to take my kids from me. Like, just why? Like, why couldn't you stay up underneath that rock, whatever rock you were at? Like, just... That's the kindest things you could have done for your children, was just whatever you were doing that had nothing to do with them. Like, can we go back to that? So I had a few people on YouTube who support, as best as they can with what I'm experiencing with me fighting for my children and fighting for me, because he's trying to take me back. Like, he's basically trying to drag me back to Blackistan, because he's mad because I got out. So there was a comment that I saw 2-3 times in a row, so I decided to go ahead and make a phone call, get into it. So the comment was from different people in different states that, aren't there child abandonment laws? Didn't he break a law? I didn't know this was a thing. So first of all, thank you. That's another reason why I decided, and a lot of people who are going through things should speak out, get on social media, tell the truth out loud and shame these devils for what they're doing. And this is another reason why those type of non-bears, those type of narcs don't like when they see us talking, because the more we talk and we share and we support each other, the more that we're able to teach each other. I wouldn't have known this. So it's actually against the law, including in that state, to abandon your children. Here's the jacked up part. So I called the district attorney's office for that particular county in that state, Oklahoma. And I said, I got some questions. Is it, are there laws pertaining to this? So the administrator that I spoke with, it was a pretty short call, and it was just really discouraging and pretty disgusting. But then again, that's America. So it is against the law. I'm welcome to file a police report. She let me know. However, when it comes to filing a police report about these things, I can, because it's against the law. But the state will not press charges. She was like, yeah, these things just almost never get, nothing ever happens. And she said the reason is because if the father abandons the children, yeah, he broke a law, And yes, you can file a police report for it, but the children were still safe with their mother or some other person. So if the deadbeat leaves, they broke the law, but there's no repercussions for them because the children are still safe with some other parent. So they're not considered causing them any direct harm. But if me, as the mother, the primary parent, if I decide to abandon my children, my ass gets to go to jail for doing the same thing that motherfucker gets to do with no repercussions. Of course, I don't want to, but these these non dogs, because I kind of like dogs a little bit, and dogs are loyal. Okay, deadbeats are not. Abusers are not. So I'm not going to call them a dog because that would be an insult to the dog. But these non bears, these non dogs, they get to basically just say, forget this. F these kids. F being responsible. All of that. And nothing, although repercussions should be had, there should be consequences and repercussions. It doesn't happen. But if I did the same exact thing, if I broke the same exact law, I get to it. I get an invitation with handcuffs, and not the one that I would actually enjoy. Yeah, this is the privilege of patriarchy. This is the disgustingness that our founding fathers set up, that we are still having to feel all the fucked up activity of it to this day. So again, he gets to abuse me as his wife. He gets to continually essay me as his wife. But because I'm his wife appliance, he is entitled to do whatever the hell he wants to do to my body with no repercussions. He is able to mistreat me. He is able to continually knock me up and tell me he did it on purpose so that I couldn't leave him, refuse to divorce me. He is able to do what he did to his other child before he had me. He's able to do what he's done to lots of young ladies at colleges and schools. And, because he's a good guy, because he's a man of God, and because he's a good cop and he's an honorable man, then they keep sweeping this shit under the rug, and they tell his victims like me, like other young ladies, and like, girls, shh, be quiet about it. Even the family, even his family members who know how much of a fucking demon he is, shh, just be quiet about it. Just don't talk about it. Just don't talk about it. Just kind of handle it. Suck it up. Suck up the bullshit. Just suck up the abuse. You'll be all right. He gets to do what he did to my daughters from the time that two of them were babies. And when I would speak up about it, I'm just angry. I'm just some bitter mom who's trying to make life hard for him because I hate him because of what he did to me. And then even invalidating what he did to me as if that doesn't matter. It's all about the kids. No, it matters, everything he did. And guess what? If you don't like, and if you don't respect, and if you victimize and you brutalize the mom, then what do you think these monsters do to the kids? We see it in the news all the time, especially when the mom gets away. That's the only reason why they'll try to access the kids, because they need somebody underneath their foot, underneath their thumb, underneath their body, underneath their just depravity. So you can't do it to her anymore because she was able to get away, or, in other circumstances, you put her in the ground, or you broken her so much to where, you can't even play with her anymore. They go to the kids, you guys. And he did. Why would I willingly give him a chance to do it again? But when it comes to being the woman, when it comes to being the mother, when it comes to being their victim, where do we get to go and turn to prevent it from happening again? What I am being told is I have to just cooperate. The attorneys, the judges, everything else. I have to cooperate and give him a chance to literally reopen the floodgates of his hell into me and my children's life. And until it can be proven, basically until I can walk in on him R-wording or M-wording my kids, until some other, because kids will say that they've been abused. I did. Kids will say that they've been abused. My nephew did. And for years, these authority figures that you're supposed to trust, you go and say it to the school, you say it to the state, you say it to the cops. They don't do anything. because supposedly their system is so overwhelmed. Kids don't have a voice. They don't get to speak up for themselves and just get listened to, like a lot of mothers and women don't as well. So until something super egregious happens, or until my children's name is on a fucking headstone or something, then, and then even then, the chances of motherfuckers like him actually still being held accountable and going to jail for it, they're still kind of low, because we're working, we worship in church next to, we go to work with, we're driving on the road next to, we're sitting in classes with people like this who don't ever have to answer to their crimes. But the law says father's rights. The law says his rights are more important than my children to have a life, to have a right to a life that's continually safe, secure, stable, healthy. Everything that it wasn't, everything that our life wasn't while we were connected to that motherfucker. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? Yeah, this is what I'm up against, and this is what a lot of women in my position are up against. It makes you feel very disgusted. It makes you feel very disempowered. It makes you feel vulnerable. Being in a situation where you know that there's still a man connected to your life who has the legal rights, and oh my God, just don't do it. Don't date preachers. Don't date cops. Don't date soldiers. My ex-husband is a police officer. And now that he works for the sheriff's office in the county where I was finally able to divorce him, now that he works there, he has almost 10 years of us just living, just, oh my God, just in peace without this son of a bitch. Now that he works there, you can't tell me collusion is not going on. He is trying to reopen the door, and he is trying his best to drag me and my babies all the way back across the country so that we can be available for his abuse and use again. Abusers never stop. They never stop, like rabid animals. They never stop until they're put down. And as long as he is breathing, I know that my life and my children's life in so many ways will always be, there's always going to be a certain threat and a danger attached to it, because one thing that abusers hate is to not have any control. And once I started to grow up, to heal, to get help, and stop being that disempowered girl that he knew was a target, which is why he targeted me, that's when things became more hostile, because how dare I break away, and how dare I not be available for his abuse and use. That's all this is about. He sees me continue to thrive, heal, create what I've never had before, create what he's never had, because he refuses to do the work with his dumb, irresponsible ass. I didn't have it because I didn't have a choice. You know, he's 21 years older than me. So he's had 2 lifetimes to fuck up life, learn how to make it better and everything. He's willfully always been the fuck up he is. I just happened to just grow up in a way that was very hard. So when I started to learn better, do better, grow, assert boundaries, say, what you're doing, this is abuse, this ain't right. And I don't give a damn if I'm not being heard. I'm getting the fuck away from you. So when I decided to do that and make and create a good life for me and the children, and still say to him, back in the day, I used to say, I'm not closing the door on you. You have an opportunity to still be a father, but you have to be a good one. You have to be safe. You have to be respectable. And his answer to that was, actually word for word, what he said to me was, well, it's better for me to have nothing to do with you and your children. He just mad because I called his bluff. I was like, you're right. I agree. You're right. Like, so stand on that, motherfucker. So now you're 62 or 63, and you're looking up and you're having to actually deal with the consequences of the life that you created for yourself. So you want to try to drag people back to be a hospice care wife? You want to try to drag the kids back, kids that you don't know, period, that you never parented, that you literally only victimized? You want to try to drag them back because they got some life skills now. So I see how this could go if I allowed it. Or if, some judge decided to just fuck up my life and my kid's life, and they do that because father's rights in the law. is more important than my kids' safety. I see how this would go. You go try to use my daughters as your stand-in wife, because this is what they do. You would try to use my children for your personal gratification. Again, because that's what you do. Child. There's very few things that I know that I can do right now, and this is one of them. Growing up, I was taught to, don't shame that man. What happens in his house stays in his house. What happens in his church stays in his church. Be quiet and let God fight your battles. Fuck that shit. Mm-mm. Who does God use as eyes, ears, hands, and everything else? Yeah, battles are to be fought metaphysically and spiritually, sure. But when you're on the battleground, it looks like it paused me. But battles are to be fought metaphysically and spiritually, sure. But battles are also fought on the ground. I'm supposed to just let these people, I'm supposed to be drug into a war and just stand there and allow me and my children to get beat down? Where do they do that at? So the best way that I know how to fight right now is reaching out, speaking out a bunch, starting a GoFundMe to try to help pay for attorneys that are going to fight for me and my children, pay for this guardian ad litem that this judge is forcing me to split 50-50. Like, how dare you? He is the one that is trying to reassert himself, and that's trying to basically rip open my children's life and force his way in. But now I gotta split the bill to pay for some guardian ad litem to do a study. Really? Like you want to study me in my home, but not this fool who's never even had a home for himself and probably still don't have a pot to piss in that he's trying to drag my children to. And I said my children. I said what the hell I said. I said it for a reason, because they've always been my babies. Mommy's baby, daddy's maybe. It was mommy's baby, daddy's never. That's what it is over here. Y'all, I'm tired. Almost 10 years of nothing but peace, healing, growth, therapy. So many different organizations and services. Me having to recreate my own family system because I didn't have a family system that was healthy, that was safe, that was supportive. Functional. Me fighting like hell to get the hell up away. I mean, like, literally, I left and I moved and I went back cross country and I moved back to Jersey, which was my home state, with whatever would fit in my little Nissan Versa. That is how desperate I was to get the hell up out of a life that damn near killed me and that was not serving my children's best interest. And impoverished on top of all that. Like, pick a struggle. Like, this too much. And trying to fight to get out of poverty and use it on, right? But not being able to do it, not there because there wasn't enough resources. I couldn't even successfully be a welfare queen living over there. Because that state don't even have enough welfare for you to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. I left with only $200 in my bank account. That's how serious it was for me. And I drove across country in that little Nissan Versa with only a couple of backpacks with some clothes in it. And that's it. Because I'm like, this life is so fucked up. I don't know what's on the other side. All I know is Oklahoma was number 48 in schools. New Jersey was number 1. Oklahoma's healthcare system was totally fucked. Okay, I'm working full time. I'm performing. I'm doing this. I'm doing that, and I still can't afford good healthcare for me. I don't have dental. I don't have vision. When I need, my children were on Medicaid, but there were still certain things they weren't getting there because in that state there's a. So I'm like, I'm in the worst, and we doing the worst. Oh, and even with school. Things they told me for my oldest, which now she just finished her freshman year of college. the success, the certain small levels of success that we've been able to get, I couldn't get it there because they didn't have resources, like not enough. So I do what services they need where I can't make the money, and I also don't have nobody I can rely on there either. Like, you just want me to stay there and be broke and broken? So I moved back to where I'm from. I get connected to services. I get help. There's family support services. There's finances. There's all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, right now in the state of New Jersey, there was a society that paid for me to have an attorney. I don't do was, which it makes no sense for her to say no. All she had to do was release it and allow New Jersey to take jurisdiction so that it can be a fight that, because first of all, he started the fight. So all right, you want to bring me a fight? Let's fight. But my children's life is there. They never even went to school. My young two children I had with him, they never even went to. They were so young they weren't even in school yet. Their entire life is in Jersey. So why the hell? Why would you? We've been there for 6 years. We've been there for 6 years. But the judge said no, she will not allow New Jersey to take jurisdiction. Something ain't adding up and something ain't right over there. But again, he now works for the county sheriff's office. He is working, like you're working with your peers to terrorize me. And this is what people like that do. It's called post-separation abuse. When they're able to do these type of things. All right. I need to give myself a couple more hours of rest. The main point of this live was to share that, yes, I heard what some of you said. Thank you. Keep the advice rolling in. Please keep sharing the GoFundMe. It's when you're in a divorce that is less complicated, it costs more money than even what I'm seeking right now. But it's a high conflict divorce. I am working all this. I'm on duty as we speak. I'm working all the time. And it's really not fair that I've been and wreck it. Just a little bit of money I had in savings, I had to spend it all on an attorney. Wiped out. And who knows? Divorces for po folk can cost 20, 30, 40, 50,000, unfortunately. And this is another reason why these type of men will put you through it, because they know that you don't have the resources to support or the funds to fight them. And that's how much advice as I can, and don't stop fighting. I'm not negotiating with a terrorist. And what I'm not going to do is willingly allow my children and consequently myself to be redelivered back into the hands of an abuser. All right. Good night.